Have you ever wrapped your hands around a warm cup of ginger tea on a cold morning and thought, this is good for me? This is protecting my body. But what if I told you that the very habit millions of older adults trust every day may be quietly irritating your stomach and slowly overworking your kidneys without you feeling a thing? I'm Dr. Mark Ellis, and I need to be very clear with you right from the start, because this is not a casual wellness topic. For people over 60, ginger is no longer just a harmless spice or a comforting tea. When used the wrong way at the wrong time, or with the wrong medications, it can turn into a silent trigger for stomach bleeding, sudden blood pressure drops, and accelerated kidney decline, often without dramatic warning signs. That's what makes this so dangerous. You don't feel pain at first. You don't feel sick right away. You just keep sipping, trusting an old belief, while your body quietly absorbs the stress. And by the time symptoms show up, many people wish someone had warned them earlier. But here's the good news, and this is why you should stay with me until the very end. Ginger itself is not the enemy. The real risk lies in how it's used when it's used and what it's combined with. And once you understand that you can turn this same ingredient from a hidden threat into a powerful ally for your stomach and your kidneys. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through the exact reasons ginger affects aging organs differently, the critical mistake people make when mixing it with common medications, and the simple science-backed way to use ginger safely so it supports your health instead of silently draining it. And what comes next may completely change how you look at that cup of ginger tea tomorrow morning. The first and most dangerous mistake, and the one almost no one talks about, is combining ginger with everyday medications. This is where ginger quietly crosses the line from natural remedy into a real medical risk, especially for adults over 60. Let me explain why this matters so much. Many people believe that because ginger is natural, it must be gentle. But ginger is not gentle. It is biologically active. Its compounds directly affect blood flow, stomach lining integrity, and kidney filtration pressure. When that power collides with prescription drugs, the body doesn't negotiate, it reacts. I want you to meet someone I'll call Robert. He's 71, retired, disciplined about his health. Every morning like clockwork, he took his blood pressure medication and a low-dose blood thinner prescribed by his cardiologist. Winter mornings made his hands cold, so he added a strong cup of ginger tea right after his pills, believing he was doing something good for circulation. Within 2 weeks, Robert was in the emergency room with severe stomach pain, dizziness, and internal bleeding. What shocked his family wasn't just the gastric hemorrhage, it was that his kidney function had suddenly dropped to nearly half of what it had been before. This wasn't bad luck, it was chemistry. Here's what's happening inside the body. Ginger has a natural blood thinning effect. So do medications like aspirin, warfarin, and many common heart and blood pressure drugs. When two blood thinning forces stack on top of each other, the blood loses its ability to clot properly. In older adults, the stomach's protective mucus layer is already thinner due to aging. Add ginger's stimulating compounds, and tiny blood vessels in the stomach wall can rupture without warning. Now here's the part most people don't realize. When bleeding occurs or blood pressure drops, suddenly the kidneys are the first organs to suffer. Kidneys rely on steady blood flow to filter toxins. Even a short interruption can injure delicate filtering units called glomeruli. Studies show that acute drops in blood pressure can reduce kidney filtration by up to 30 to 50% in older adults, and repeated episodes dramatically increase the risk of chronic kidney disease. And it doesn't stop there. Ginger also influences liver enzymes responsible for breaking down medications. That means drugs can suddenly become too strong or wear off too fast. Blood pressure can crash. Dizziness leads to falls. Reduced circulation starves the kidneys of oxygen. What starts as a warming tea becomes a cascade the body can't control. This is why timing matters. Using ginger within 3 to 4 hours of taking blood pressure drugs, blood thinners, diabetes medications, or diuretics is not harmless, it's a gamble. For some people, nothing happens. For others, the damage is immediate and life-altering. If you're listening right now and thinking, I've done this before, you're not alone. And this doesn't mean ginger must be banned forever. It means ginger demands respect, especially when medications are involved. But here's the truth that should stop you for a second. Even if you never mix ginger with medication, there are 2 other combinations that quietly damage the stomach and kidneys even faster. And almost everyone overlooks them. And that's what we need to talk about next. The second mistake is even more deceptive because it doesn't come from medicine cabinets, it comes from the dinner table. It's the habit of combining ginger with duck meat, a pairing that feels traditional, comforting, even healthy, yet quietly destabilizes the stomach and places unexpected strain on the kidneys. Here's why this matters. Duck meat is naturally cooling and heavy to digest. Ginger, on the other hand, is intensely warming and stimulating. Many people assume these two cancel each other out. In reality, in an aging body, they collide. The stomach is forced to swing rapidly between opposing signals: slow digestion from the duck, aggressive stimulation from the ginger, and that constant push and pull overwhelms a digestive system that no longer adapts the way it did decades ago. I once spoke with a 68-year-old man who loved duck soup in the winter. Every time he cooked it, he added generous slices of ginger to cut the grease and warm his body. After meals like this, he felt bloated, heavy, and unusually tired, but he brushed it off as age. What he didn't realize was that the pressure building in his abdomen after these meals was doing more than causing discomfort. It was altering blood flow to his kidneys. Here's the simple physiology behind it. When digestion slows and gas builds, pressure inside the abdominal cavity rises. That pressure compresses the blood vessels supplying the kidneys. Reduced blood flow means reduced oxygen delivery, and kidneys are extremely sensitive to oxygen deprivation. Research shows that even modest reductions in renal blood flow can impair filtration efficiency, especially in older adults whose blood vessels have already lost elasticity. At the same time, duck meat is relatively high in protein and metabolic waste products. So while kidney blood supply is being restricted, the kidneys are being asked to work harder to clear byproducts from digestion. It's like pressing the accelerator while cutting off fuel. Over time, this mismatch increases the risk of chronic kidney stress fluid retention and subtle swelling, especially around the face and hands in the morning. This is what makes the combination so dangerous. It doesn't cause immediate pain that forces you to stop. It causes gradual overload. And because the meal feels familiar and culturally safe, people repeat it again and again, unaware that the damage compounds quietly. Now, this doesn't mean duck must be eliminated forever. It means ginger is not the right partner here. Milder aromatics like garlic or chives support digestion without shocking the system, and they don't provoke the same circulatory stress. Small substitutions can dramatically reduce risk. But even if you avoid this pairing completely, there is still one final factor that destroys stomach and kidney health, far faster, one that most people overlook because it hides in plain sight right in their kitchen. And knowing only this much still isn't enough, because what comes next is far more dangerous. The third danger is the most silent, the most underestimated, and the hardest to reverse: rotten or sprouting ginger. This isn't about how you combine ginger with other foods anymore. This is about the moment ginger itself crosses a line and becomes toxic, even though it still looks usable on the outside. Many people, especially older adults, were raised to never waste food. If a piece of ginger looks a little soft, slightly wrinkled, or has a dark spot, the instinct is to cut away the bad part and save the rest. It feels responsible, it feels practical. But biologically, this is where the real danger begins. I once spoke with a woman in her early 70s who had used ginger almost daily for years. She never drank it strong, never mixed it with medication, and avoided heavy meals. Yet her kidney function declined faster than expected. When doctors traced her habits, one detail stood out: she often used ginger that had begun to spoil, believing cooking it thoroughly made it safe. It didn't. Here's what's happening beneath the surface. When ginger starts to rot or sprout, it can produce toxic compounds that are not confined to the visibly damaged area. Ginger is rich in moisture and fibrous channels, which allow toxins to spread throughout the entire root. Cutting off the soft or moldy section does not remove the risk. The damage has already traveled inward. What makes this especially dangerous is heat resistance. Many people assume boiling neutralizes toxins, but certain plant-derived toxins remain stable even at high cooking temperatures. Once ingested, these compounds pass through the bloodstream to the liver and kidneys, the body's primary detox organs. The liver attempts to process them, while the kidneys are forced to filter them out. And kidney cells, once damaged, do not regenerate. Research on foodborne plant toxins shows that repeated low-level exposure is often more harmful than a single large dose. There are no dramatic symptoms at first, no sharp pain, no immediate alarm, just a gradual rise in internal stress inflammation in the kidney's filtering units, and slow loss of function that becomes apparent only when lab values begin to shift, often when it's already too late to fully reverse. This is why this mistake is so devastating. It hides behind good intentions. It feels harmless, and it accumulates quietly day after day. For older adults whose detox capacity is already reduced, the progression is faster and the recovery window is smaller. The solution here is simple but uncompromising. Ginger must be firm, dry, and free of any soft spots, mold, or bitterness. If there is doubt, discard it completely. Saving a few dollars worth of ginger is never worth gambling with organs that cannot be replaced. And yet, even after hearing all of this, many people still ask the wrong question. They ask, should I stop using ginger? But that's not the question that determines whether your kidneys stay strong or quietly fail. Because knowing what to avoid is only half the answer. The final piece, the one almost no one considers, is when ginger should and should not be used. And that detail can decide everything. Before we end, I want to say this clearly. If you've watched this far, it means you care about your health, and that already puts you ahead of most people. Aging does not mean giving up control. It does not mean waiting for bad news at the doctor's office. Small informed choices like how you use ginger when you use it and what you never combine it with can protect your stomach, reduce stress on your kidneys, and help you stay independent for years to come. Please remember this: you don't need expensive supplements or extreme diets to take care of your kidneys. You need awareness, consistency, and respect for how your body changes over time. If something in this video made you pause and think that's not fear, that's your intuition helping you course correct before real damage happens. If you found this information helpful, I strongly encourage you to save this video so you can come back to it, especially when habits slowly start to slip. And make sure to subscribe to the channel because we regularly share clear, practical, science-based medical insights focused on kidney health, blood pressure, digestion, and healthy aging explained in a way that actually makes sense. My goal is simple: to help you protect your kidneys before problems become permanent, so your later years are filled with clarity, strength, and peace of mind, not hospital visits and regret. There is always something you can do, and it's never too late to start doing it right. Take care of yourself, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next video.